So like it cut off. I said, like I was saying, man, they don't believe all these spiritual things that happen in the Bible even happened, right? They believe that they're only within the book and that they never actually happen in reality, but they happen and they're real within the book though. They don't believe that they actually took place in real life, man. And that's why you have to remember to create in the days of our youth, because when you're younger in general, your imagination's greater, right? But then if you have a good imagination when you're younger, you can stay believing some of those things now in your latter years, man. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 1 again. Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, when the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Which is what a lot of people are going to get ready to do. And what is like when with the analogy of these women, as these women start to get older and older, you see them that they're miserable, man. And that's where you get these Karens, these so-called white Karens, these Edomite. Well, I know you don't even need to say so. The original Karens are Edomite women anyway. But you have even these Israelite women that become Karens, man, and they just out in public, not moving out of men's way, trying to kick up a fuss, arguing with customer service, just being a scumbag, telling people that they want to speak to the manager, just being an asshole in public, man, because that's the only way that they can interact with a man. They're overly monitoring their neighbors. They become like noise pollution patrol. If their neighbors playing music like 1 minute past the curfew of not playing music loudly in your neighborhood, they're gonna call the police. They're spying on the neighborhood, telling like listening for any one thing, and they just become evil because in their youth they abused their youth and they thought that they was gonna have it forever, and it never lasts that way. Even a man's strength don't last forever. All the men that are strong now, there's gonna come a time when they ain't like that no more, right? And if they didn't ever prepare themselves for a time where they're not gonna have that, they're not gonna be able to handle it, right? Just like how you with a lot of these women, they're not gonna be able to, and a lot of these women and a lot of these people that don't believe in Yahweh Shem Yahushai right now, they're not gonna be able to handle the time when that becomes the greatest thing to know. When the time comes where the greatest thing to know is about Yahweh Shem Yahushai, these people are not gonna be able to handle it. Now, one of the things that I've noticed that's heavy in this world is that the scriptures say, remember now they're creating the days of our youth, right? But you see what, yeah? You see in this world, yeah? All of these people that go out and do all these other things in their life, like Kanye West, for example, he went out and did all these different kind of things in his life. He did all these different things in music. He did fashion, right? But he still ended up in his latter years coming out and talking about the scriptures. DMX, he went and did all these different kind of things in music and all that as well. And in his latter life, he was doing sit down videos where he's just reading the Bible. He'd just be sitting down live streaming, reading the Bible. So he ended up still coming back to the scriptures anyway. So he really would have been better off being about the scriptures when he was younger, because he ended up coming towards it when he was younger anyway. I mean, when he was older anyway. Just like with the analogy that I gave earlier with the women and the dating of men, right? If a woman wants to get married, right, it makes sense for her to get married the first opportunity that she has with the best man that she has available to get married to, rather than going out, being a harlot, getting all these other experiences to now where you can't even enjoy being married, right? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to do that, to go out, get all these different experiences to now where you can't even really even enjoy a marriage, right? Because now you're just overstimulated by all these different other experiences to where your marriage seems boring. It would make more sense to stay with that one man and all the experiences that you would want to do in your life to experience them with that one man, so you can actually enjoy those things with one individual. But these women end up enjoying 20,000 different experiences with 100 different individuals, and then now they start feeling like they're better than all of those men in certain areas because, oh, they might have dated a guy that was like a strong guy, built and all that. So then now when it comes to anything physical, they view their husband now, that's the man that ended up getting them in their latter life. They view him as, oh, well, he ain't as good as that guy in that category. And then when it comes to their husband in another category, like maybe financially, or they might have dated a guy that was rich once upon a time. So now anything financial, they don't even view their husband as the best financial guy, because they experienced a better financial situation with another geezer. When it comes to style, they might have dated a real stylish guy, and now they don't view their man as a stylish guy in the next category. And then you know that women are already covetous anyway, man. Women are covetous. Women are covetous in ways of like, they'll be walking on the street, right? And they'll see another man that appears to be better than another man in some way, right? So then they now compare that man to maybe whoever they're dating, whoever they're with. But they don't really know anything about the guy. It's just an external thing of they view that person better. But then one of the things is funny because one of the things when you know that we know that women do this, right? Women do this, but they don't want it to be done to them though. They want their man to believe that they're the most best looking woman in the world when they're not. But they want their man to believe that they are when they don't even believe that they are. And they be getting jealous of other women that are more attractive than them when they walk down the street. But they don't want their man to notice that that woman's more attractive than them. But they'll notice if they think a man's more attractive than you though. And this is why women and men right now in this society can't get along, because you see, when it comes to a lot of this red pill philosophy and these red pill ideas, those ideas are true and those sayings are true, yeah? Because we're living in this society. When we're in the society of the kingdom of heaven, those red pill philosophies and all those different things are not even gonna be true. A lot of those things are not even gonna be true. They're gonna have to be changed, and the way the men and female dynamics is gonna be completely different because we're guided under the structure of the kingdom of heaven now. A lot of these hold frame and all these different stuff that people say you have to do to get a woman, no, you can get a woman by it being betrothed. You can get a woman by her being betrothed to you before y'all was even of age, or before she was even of age, right? And then when she becomes of age, now you marry her. That's what it's gonna be like in the kingdom. You ain't gonna have to worry about no game, and you gotta make sure you wear the right polo t-shirt, and you gotta make sure you wear the right jeans and the right fit. You ain't gonna have to worry about that in the kingdom, right? It's gonna be a completely different set of rules, man. Things are gonna be different in the kingdom way, right? The kingdom way versus this way is just like night and day, man. Which that rhymed, huh? But anyway, I just wanted to do a quick video on this, man. Like, remember the Creator in the days of thy youth. There's a reason why the scriptures say that, man. And when you apply it to the female thing, no man wants to be the last choice, right? Yahweh is a man. Yahweh is a man of war, a God of war, right? Yahweh is a man of war. The scriptures say Yahweh is, well, let's get it. It says Yahweh is a man of war. Doesn't it say he's a God of war? No, it says Yahweh is a man of war, but really he would be a God of war. Exodus chapter 15 and verse 3, Yahweh is a man of war. Yahweh is his name, right? No man in general wants to be no last choice option for no woman. And now consider whether a man of war would want to be like that then, right? No, he wouldn't. So you can't try and play Yahweh as like some second choice. But a lot of our people of our nation have done that, and then they come and try and learn the scriptures. I think that they're deep later on and it don't work. Like Kanye West in his arrogance, if what he did was true when he tried to start talking all this stuff about the Israelites, and it wasn't a thing where he was told to say it by no handlers or nothing like that, yeah. Let's just say it was sincere. In his arrogance, he thought that him saying it, that were the 12 tribes of Israel, which he never even said it properly. He said were the 12 tribes of Judah, but he thought in his arrogance that him saying it would mean more than the apostles saying it, the elders and all that saying it. Because, oh, I'm Kanye West, so me saying it means more than them saying it, and I'm about to change the whole world from me saying it. Now, he alerted loads of people to it being true and all that, but like, and would have brought people towards believing it, but he's not the messenger of that. That's not his message to tell. He doesn't know the inner depths. If people just start asking him, okay, why do you believe that? He wouldn't have had the answers to it. Just like how Sway didn't have the answers back then for him. He would have been Sway in that scenario, man. They would have been saying, you ain't got the answers, yay. You ain't got the answers, yay. Like how he was saying, you ain't got the answers, Sway. He wouldn't have had the answers, man. He was saying it ain't no Ralph though. They would have been saying, you ain't no Apostle Gabar though. You ain't no Apostle Tahar though. You ain't no apostle of Ramlab, but it ain't no apostle of Ramlab though. But it ain't no apostle of Akar though. But y'all ain't no one. But y'all ain't no GMS though. But y'all ain't the elect though. Y'all just a singer, man. Y'all just a rapper, man. That's how he would have been getting done. The same way how he was doing Sway. He wouldn't have had the answers. He thought that he could just do some gospel music thing and then say that if we're to take it, what he did is sincere and not as a thing where he was being used by the elites to try and test and see how many people know that they're Israelites. Right? If we're to take it as it being sincere, man. But yeah, man, like the overall point of this lesson is there's a reason why it says to remember the Creator in the days of your youth and to not try and take the mick. I think you can try and only want to know about the Lord now that you ain't got nothing better to do. Because when you're young, you've got unlimited options. The possibilities of what you could so-called become seem unlimited at that time, right? But in that time, when you've got those so-called unlimited options, that's when it's a good thing to try and know the Lord. Just like how if a woman seems like she's got unlimited options to date different men and she picks one certain man, that man's going to appreciate her being around him rather than a woman that's getting old now and all of the options that she used to have, she's ran them through the dirt. And now she's coming to this guy desperate as hell. He ain't going to appreciate that, right? Or if she's circled the block, as they say, circled the block and went to pick one of the guys that she denied in the past, he'll accept the relationship maybe, but eventually he'll become sour and be like, hang on, why do I get the older version? I tried to date her when she was 19. I tried to date her when she was 20 and she didn't want to know. But now she wants to come to me with her 48-year-old self, man. Now that I've built up my life and got this and got that, now she's trying to come to me like she's still 19. And if a guy does that, really, he's an idiot. Because she don't look nowhere near the same as what she did in the past. And he shouldn't be feeling like good about himself for getting that. Just like how your Howard won't feel like you respect him if you try and come to him now that you're old and that there's nothing better to do because the world's destroyed. There ain't nothing going on, right? We're under martial law, right? There ain't no jobs. There ain't no career paths because all of it's, let's go back to it, man. You can't try, you can try and come to how when there ain't no jobs now, there ain't no career paths, all the world's through. And now all of a sudden you want to try and humble yourself. Just like some of these women when it comes to this Isaiah 4:1 prophecy, man. A lot of these women that are going to start trying to all of a sudden want to humble themselves to men and talk some, we'll eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Well, what apparel do you need right now? World War III is going on. All hell's breaking loose. What kind of apparel do you need? Are you going to be going to a banquet anytime soon? You're going to be going to a wine and cheese tasting anytime soon? No, you're not. So what apparel do you need anyway? One garms. Do you know what I mean? What apparel do you need right now? It's not really that big of a thing for a woman to say. If they say it during all hell breaking loose. If they say it before, if a woman was to say that now, that would be pretty cool. If a woman's saying that now. But when they're saying it when all hell's broken loose, that's not as humble as you might think it is, man. When you really think about it, it's not as humble as you think it is. Woman to just be like, I'll pay my way. Well, of course you'll pay your way. What do you need to really sustain yourself with? We ain't gonna be paying rent during all hell breaking loose, are we? There ain't gonna be no rent money. There ain't gonna be no holidays that you're gonna wanna go on, is there? There ain't gonna be no first class flights to the Bahamas. We ain't gonna be going to Bali, are we? We ain't gonna be going to Asia we ain't gonna be going on a sea tour, a cruise ship tour, are we? We're gonna be eating food, hiding, staying silent in this place for a time, relax it back, go back out, run away. So you saying I'll eat my own bread and I'll wear my own apparel don't mean as much as you might think it does. Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 1, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the days draw nigh, when thou shalt say I have no pleasure in them. When all hell is breaking loose, people ain't gonna have pleasure in that time. So of course people are gonna want to try and learn the scriptures then, because there ain't gonna be anything else to be trying to go in on. So of course people are going to want to humble themselves and learn the scriptures now that they finally realize that learning the scriptures is what's going to have the opportunity to save them. Or of course people are going to want to learn it then. But are people trying to learn it now when it's not as clear that that is the way out of this situation? This is what Yahweh is saying in this scripture, man. This is what Yahweh is saying in the scripture through Solomon. Verse 2, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. In the days when the keepers of the house shall tremble, right? People are in their house worrying, wondering if they're going to be robbed, wondering if some crazy lunatics are going to come through and pillage their house, right? You remember Yahweh before that's happening. Because of course people are going to want to know godly things and be calling upon the Lord when you don't know if you're going to live or die in the next hour. Of course people are going to want to know the Lord then, right? Just like how of course a woman's going to want to humble herself to men then. Of course a woman's going to want to be feminine in that time, when if she don't be feminine and doesn't show respect to a man, you might put her head through a window. Of course you're going to want to be humble and realize that men are better than you in that time, right? And that men are supposed to be given respect in the world then. Of course you're going to want to believe it then, right? But do you believe it now when people are telling you that women are better than men and that men are supposed to bend their neck over and bend over 25 different ways, right? And allow women to run havoc and run wild over him. And he's supposed to do everything in his life to make sure that her life is exactly as smooth as he wants it to be. And she, while he's doing that for her, doesn't have to do anything for him. You better pay every single bill, pay for every single holiday, pay for her to go get her nails done, her hair done, and she can go outside and show what she looks like, show her best beauty to everyone outside in the world. And then when she comes back home, take it all off, right? And just be sitting down in some baggy out shorts and some dirty ass, crusty, unironed clothes. Yeah, that's what women that's what women try and do in this world, right? And just be like, oh, I don't want to be doing all that makeup thing right now and all that attractive stuff right now. I just want to relax in my house. If you loved me, you'll accept me at my worst. But she shows all the strangers in the world her best. Yeah, and you're supposed to accept that while paying for the privilege to be disrespected as well, right? Of course, it's easy for women to be trying to wanna humble themselves when it's not like that anymore. But when it was like that, was women humbling themselves? Please remember the creating the days of our youth is a heavy scripture, man, because a lot of women didn't want to humble themselves now when women was given all these options to be disrespectful. But they're gonna want to try and humble themselves when women ain't got no options. But you can't be like that. Just like how when it comes to believers in Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai, Yahweh made them believe for the most part when they were young. For the most part, the believers in Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai that are gonna get beaten up on them chariots, they believed in Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai when they were young, when there wasn't no old wine bottle, right? Now that doesn't mean that there's not nobody that came in when there was an older life that's gonna get beamed up, but the majority remembered him in their youth, right? There's plenty of people that right now are the similar age of the apostles, but do they have the same amount of years of experience within the scriptures? No, they don't. Because when they had the opportunity to believe that, they didn't want to believe it. But when all hell's breaking loose, if those people are still alive along with the apostles and they're all on the earth, and all the people that would have been the apostles and the elders' peers, are their peer group, right? They're going to be looking at the apostles like, man, yeah, them men did say that. And they carried on believing it all this time. But what was I doing in that time? I was not believing. Just like how the same people, when it comes to the peer group of the people younger after that, that might be like a decade or two, 3 decades, 4 decades younger, their peer group's going to look at them like, man, well, hey, they've got all this information and I ain't got it. And that's why you get the things that it says in Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. What has pride profited us, right? And what has riches with our vaunting brought us, man. Verse 4, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grind is low. Of course, it's what people are going to want to believe in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai and want to try and know things in the scripture when the doors are shut in the streets. When the lockdown came, right, 2019, 2020, of course, people are going to want to try and get down with the scriptures now. There ain't nothing else to do. There ain't no, oh, I'm going to go to work. No, you ain't. There ain't no work. Of course, they're going to want to try. There ain't no clubs now. There ain't no club. There ain't no going out to the bar, going out to this place, that place. There ain't none of that. So of course they wanted to try and know and try and get deep in the scriptures then. But now that things have opened back up again, are they still trying to be on it now? I think most of them probably are not, right? And there was one brother that was going into that, man, about how that time was really used to expose these people that they're full of shit. That they can try and fake like they believe in the Lord, right? To be exposed so that when it goes back to normal, that they expose that they didn't really believe. that they were just trying to say it because, excuse me, because now, I mean, they were just saying it because at that time there was nothing else going on, right? Just like how a woman, if a woman like, right, she kind of feeling bad about herself, she might want to she'll say, this is what women would try and say, I'm gonna give him a chance. You know how disrespectful that is? I'm gonna give him a chance, like they're just such a highly regarded vessel that, oh, he should be just delighted that she's gonna give him a chance. They say, I'll give him a chance, right? But when it comes to another guy that they think is better than this guy, they don't think that they're giving that guy a chance. They're thinking in their mind that he's giving him a chance, or that it's just an equal exchange, right? But the guy that she's giving a chance, right, as soon as she finds another opportunity to get with the next geezer that she thinks is better, she's gonna take the opportunity. She's gonna try and throw out energy towards getting attention from that guy, right? And then when it flops, she's gonna try and think she's gonna give another guy a chance. Just like how these people, when it comes to that, didn't want to believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, but now that all hell's breaking loose, it's like they're almost trying to say to Yahweh, oh, I'm giving you a chance. I'm giving you a chance to prove to me that you're worthy for me to believe you. And that's why you have people that try to have the nerve to used to come up to Hebrew Israelites and say, prove to me that this God exists. And the Israelites would always say, I ain't proving nothing to you. I don't care if you believe or not, right? That's one of the things that these people used to really hate, being told by Hebrew Israelites. When they say, prove to me, they'll be like, I don't need to prove nothing to you. If you don't believe, you don't believe. I don't care. You wasn't made to believe anyway. Just like how women don't like that happening to them. They don't like men that don't feel like they need to prove themselves to them. Right? They don't like men that don't feel like they have to prove themselves to them and impress them in any kind of way. Because Yahweh's the greater, so why would he have to prove himself to you? No, you have to prove yourself to him. Just like how the men of the elected nation of Israel are really better than all the women that are around them. They're really better if they've got a woman. They're better than their woman. Now, it sounds arrogant, but it's true. They're really better than their woman. That doesn't mean that they have to necessarily treat their woman in a disrespectful way, but they're really better than her, right? So why would he have to prove himself to her? Well, he really don't. And that's why in Isaiah 4:1 doesn't say that the men are going to be chasing down one woman, saying, I'll pay all your bills. I'll take care of you in every way you need. I'll be your personal bodyguard. Only let me be called by your name, sweet thing, so that you may take away my reproach. Yeah, you don't say that. It says that the women are going to be chasing down one man to take away the shame of their reproach, right? Remember the Creator in the days of your youth, man. And there's a lot of people that didn't. Their youth's already gone now, right? And they're going to regret it when all hell breaks loose, man. Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. Shalom.